Regardless of whether you're playing on PC, console, or handheld, there are a million different types of video games that are out there. And while technically there are more genres than you can count, they all tend to fall under the umbrella of around half a dozen main categories, and those are the ones I wanted to look at today. To start with one that is of course reminiscent of real life, we have sports games. These ones are really simple because to make the most popular sports games, you just make a video game that most accurately recreates the real life sport. But the thing with games like Madden, NBA 2K, FIFA, and NHL is that the developers have to change the game every year to reflect the updates to the sport, meaning you have to buy the game again. If you just follow sports casually, you might not think that something like soccer changes much each year, but as an example, if we look at FIFA 2018 and compare it to this year's version, you can see that they completely changed the number. Next we have fighting games, and there's really two types of fighting games. Ones where you try to eliminate the opponent's HP points through nuanced combinations and timings, and then there's Super Smash Bros. A notable aspect about fighting games is the comparison to combat sports, and in that way the competitive fighting game scene is a lot like boxing. Fights are almost always 1v1, and if you're up against someone with tattoos, that means you're fucked. But despite being games that are literally about beating each other up, fighting game communities are some of the nicest around. So much so that practice sessions are called friendlies, and if you ever go to a tournament, it's expected that you always thank your hosts, thank your fans, say good game, fist bump, and sometimes even wear deodorant. Sim or simulation games come in two popular varieties, ones where you design roller coaster theme parks or utopian societies, and ones where you play a Euro truck driver on a 16-hour long haul through Siberia, attempting to repair breakdowns both in the game and in your $5,000 worth of peripherals. RTS games, or real-time strategy games, are generally games where you build a base, manage resources, and control an army to go and beat your opponent who is trying to do the same thing. Iconic games include Age of Empires, Command & Conquer, and of course StarCraft. The great thing about every RTS is that they feature several settings so you can always play against someone your level, whether that be casual, normal, hard, or Korean. Being strategy games, RTS is notoriously competitive, and in the top level games you'll see pros regularly play at over 400 actions per minute. To give you an idea of how fast that is, I'm going to type out the drill that professionals use to warm up before a game. That was me doing 2 lines of coke off the keyboard. Coincidentally, this is the same warm-up that most YouTube Let's Players do as well. Multiplayer online battle arenas, or MOBAs, are games where individuals actively work against each other in order to defeat the enemy. In fact, one of the paradoxes of MOBA games is that while every individual thinks they're the best on the team is far worse than how good any individual thinks they are. This inescapable skill cap can be explained by how every time you play support, your carry sucks and your team loses, and every time you play carry, your support sucks and your team loses. Then when your teammates try to point out that you're the common denominator, you can ignore them completely because they don't speak English. Next we have RPGs, or role-playing games. There's RPGs where you have a huge world to explore, called open world RPGs. There's more linear dungeon crawler RPGs. There's MMORPGs, which let you play with other people online. And there's a bunch of subgenres beyond that. Because they're role-playing games, they're typically set in fictional worlds where you get to do things you're not able to do in real life, like shooting lightning out of your hands and taking money from dwarves. Furthermore, a lot of RPGs have incredibly in-depth stories that no one pays attention to. This is unfortunate because a lot of them have brilliant writing. As an example, a lot of RPGs have a starter quest where you find a glowing amulet just sitting on the table, and when you talk to the person standing literally right next to it, they say, "Wow, you found this ancient and important piece of jewelry. You should return it. I'll follow you for the rest of the game and help you now." And usually you're just thinking, this is Lord of the Rings. Shooter games are one of the most popular genres due to their variety. You can have single-player story modes, online team deathmatch, capture the flag, defuse the bomb, or of course the most popular genre right now, Battle Royale. For those unfamiliar, Battle Royales are games where you drop either solo or with a team into a large map and fight until the last man standing as the map decreases in size. The trick to these games is that the companies release the game for free in order to get a lot of players to fill the lobbies, and then make money by selling skins and cosmetics to customize your character. And while this means the company makes almost no money from most players, it does mean that they make almost all their money from our friend Rodney. And while a lot of people think that Battle Royales are a fad, I think it's good that so many young people are playing them, because even something like Fortnite is a metaphor for everyday American life. 100 kids are dropped off by a school bus into college campus and try to survive as long as possible as they avoid an encroaching circle of unvaccinated children. Lastly, we have casual games, but don't let that name confuse you. Casual games are anything but laid back. This is because they're typically party games that you play with people who don't usually play games, and that means you have to make the decision of whether you're going to keep your friends by showing restraint or stomp their casual asses on 200cc Rainbow Road with a GameCube controller. And like I always say, you can leave the game, but you can't leave your mediocrity. Once again, an adage that I found unfortunately applies to YouTube as well.